Welcome. Today is part 2 of a 2-part video series I'm doing on how to stop bouncing when you're riding your horse. Today we're going to be covering more tips on how to stop bouncing for the rider, and then we're also going to talk about how your horse's balance influences you and your bouncing when you ride. So let's get started with our first tip. My first tip is about symmetry. When we're working with our horse, in order to work with the motion and bounce less, it's really important that we're symmetrical and even in the saddle. Now, all of us are dominant typically on one side. I'm very right-eye dominant, and what can happen when you're dominant on one side is when you start bouncing or you feel like you're out of balance, you can grip on with that more dominant side. And that causes your shoulders to twist the opposite direction. And this can cause you to bounce more. So we want to be really mindful that we keep our shoulders over our hips and our shoulders aligned with the horse's shoulders. This is going to allow us to work with the motion of the horse and keep us from bouncing. So we've talked about us as the rider, but we're a 2-part team. So how does our horse's balance influence our riding? On the left, we have a horse with a weak top line, and on the right, we have a horse with a strong top line. When we have a horse that has a weak top line like this, we're sitting in a hole where the horse has a hollow in his back. When we have a horse with a strong top line, we're being lifted and carried by the horse on a nice bridge of support. A horse that has a hollow back is going to be harder to follow the motion and more uncomfortable carrying the weight of the rider. A horse that has a strong top line is going to be easier to ride and is going to be more comfortable carrying his rider. Developing a top line takes about a year with correct and consistent training along with good nutrition. If you think this may be an issue, you can contact a knowledgeable professional in your area that can help you. I may do a video about this in the future. My next tip is all about strengthening your core and opening your hip flexors. We may be doing everything we can to follow the motion of the horse and not bounce, but if our core is weak and our hip flexors are tight, we're going to struggle not to bounce. So strengthening that core off your horse can help you to be able to follow the motion, especially in things like the sitting trot, which are more physically demanding. So the first exercise we're going to do is just lay on the ground. You're going to have a natural space here between the ground and your back, and you're going to engage your core until there's no space between the ground and your back. And then you're going to pick your feet up like this, keeping that core nice and tight. Next, we're going to drop our shoulders and reach towards our toes, trying to really tighten up that core. And you're just going to hold this for 30 seconds to a minute. If you find this really easy, you can start extending your legs out, but only as much as you can keep your back against the ground. If that's easy for you, you can extend your arms out and hold that for 30 seconds to a minute. And just do as much as you can. Start off small and gradually build your way up. Next, we're gonna do a stretch for those tight hips. If you're sitting at a desk and that's just a figure 4 stretch, you're gonna take one leg, bend it over, hold just behind your knee, and then gradually pull towards you till you have a nice stretch through your glutes and the sides of your hips there. You're gonna hold this for 40 seconds to a minute and then switch sides and stretch the other side. And this is really a stretch that's helped me out a lot. So if you're looking for more stretches for your hip flexors and more exercises you can do to strengthen your core, you can check out my equestrian stretching video, which I'll leave linked, and my equestrian workout video, and I have more exercises in there for you. My final tip is taking your stirrups away. Crosby's like, "What are you doing taking your stirrups away?" Taking your stirrups away is a great way for you to be able to learn to balance in your core and follow the motion with your hips. When we're first learning to ride, a lot of times we want to balance on our feet, and by taking those stirrups away, it's taking away that temptation and helping you to be able to follow the motion more easily and prevent you from bouncing. So I hope that this 2-part video series was a help to you on not bouncing when you ride. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy your horses. I'll see you in the next video.